Hola amigos, Senor Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, yes, I'm still in Mexico. Yes, it's another absolutely gorgeous day here. And yes, I've got a lot of news to talk about. So come along with me this morning and we'll talk some news here and, well, enjoy the sights by the ocean. So the first thing on the docket is PlayStation 4 emulation with Shad PS4. And Shad PS4 has made even more improvements. Brutal Sam has a brand new YouTube video out showcasing some footage that he pulled off Discord, and I do recommend checking it out. Or you can also head to the Shad PS4 Discord and, well, check out some stuff there too. Now, surprise, surprise, we're not talking about Bloodborne here. It is for The Last Guardian. So this to me is very impressive considering we talked about The Last Guardian, I think a couple weeks ago, and the fact that Shad PS4 was able to boot it. Now, textures in that were very broken. The gameplay was not very smooth. And it appears a whole bunch of progress has been made. The textures are now rendering in a lot better, and, well, the gameplay looks a lot better as well. Let me know your thoughts about that one in the comments below. I would argue the game is not necessarily playable just yet, but Bloodborne also started out that way, and look at where it is now. Next up here, we're talking about Evercade, and Evercade has just teased a brand new collaboration with SNK. Now this one, to me, there's really not a whole lot here, except I would say the collaboration seems to be pretty big. I'm very curious to see what comes of this. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of information, but probably we're going to hear stuff soon. The collaboration is set to take place in 2025. I am curious about this one though, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below about the collaboration. Would an SNK collaboration with Evercade entice you to pick up an Evercade if you haven't yet already? And would it entice you to pick back up your Evercade if you've purchased one and haven't used it? And if you've got an Evercade, I guess, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. For my 2 cents on the matter here, I'm very curious to know whether it's just games or if it's games and hardware. I'm assuming there's probably going to be a Neo Geo themed Evercade that's released as well, but who knows, we'll learn more in the future. And speaking about learning more in the future, next up here we're talking about the Multisystem 2. Now, if you weren't aware, Multisystem is an FPGA system, and apparently here the Multisystem 2 is going to be even better. They're saying it is a true all-in-one Mr. FPGA gaming console, plug and play and backwards compatible with all Multisystem cartridges, coming in 2025. Unfortunately, I don't know the release date, I don't know the price, I don't know a whole lot about it just yet, but I'm assuming we're going to know more in the future about this one, and as soon as I know more, you'll know more. I'm just very curious to see how it's going to play in the whole FPGA space, especially with Takeudan's new Mr. Pi. Next up is a quick heads up about Homebrew. Now, if you're interested in the Homebrew scene, if you wanted to learn more about it, if you were looking to find everything all in one place, well, there's a brand new website out there called canihomebrew.com. This one is 100% open source. It's still pretty early on in terms of development, but it's being designed to have a whole bunch of different systems, a whole bunch of different information here. You can click on a system, you can find out what possible options there are for Homebrew. Now, like everything I talk about, links will be in the description below right at the bottom if you wanted to check it out and learn more about it. Interestingly here, under PlayStation 3, you can even select the firmware version, which I think would be very helpful for people looking into Homebrew. And speaking about Homebrew, kind of, next up here we're talking about Fallout London. Now, if you're not familiar with Fallout London, it is a massive DLC-sized modification for Fallout 4. Absolutely massive. It's available on stuff like GOG, and, well, anyways, here they have a big update. So they have fixed a whole bunch of things in Fallout London. On top of that, Team FOLON is now officially a company. Now, if you are curious about the full changelog, again, like everything I talk about, link is in the description below. Feel free to check it out and learn more about the entire update. But there is a caveat here. The update may break save games, so just be careful. On top of that, Team FOLON is looking for feedback for things they're doing well, things they can improve on. And again, like everything I talk about, link will be in the description below at the bottom. Feel free to provide some feedback, some insights, and help them get better. Next up, we're quickly talking about Blasphemous. So if you're interested in this game, if you're looking forward to it on mobile, it appears it's now been released worldwide. We talked about this one before when it popped up on the Google Play Store, and unfortunately I couldn't download it at the time, but it appears that some people were able to download it. Well, now, from my understanding, this game has launched worldwide. If you're still unable to download it, let me know in the comments below, but I think this game is now out worldwide and you shouldn't have an issue picking it up if you wanted to check it out. And from my opinion here, Blasphemous is a pretty good game worth checking out if you're a fan of 2D side-scrollers. Next up, we're talking about an unreleased game that now has a release date on Steam, and that one is Tempest Rising. So Tempest Rising will be released on April 24th, 2025. For those who may not be aware, this one is an RTS. RTS stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or real-time strategy, depending on how you want to interpret it. Now, I don't normally play classic RTS games, but this one does look pretty interesting. Will I pick it up? I don't know yet. I'll have to see the price, I'll have to see the reviews on it and make my decision then. And speaking about strategy, next up here we're talking about a brand new game that has just been announced called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown. And this is a turn-based Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. It does look interesting. I think it would be amazing on mobile. And looking at the game here, I mean, this one has a lot of people talking. I think it's the very first time TMNT has ever been in a turn-based format. Unfortunately, I don't have a price, I don't have a release date, I don't have a whole lot of information about it just yet. But it is up on Steam here, it can be wish listed. And well, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below, because there is a bit of a trailer for it. Next up, we're talking about a brand new Windows emulator on Android that's just popped up on GitHub. This one is called MiceWine. They say it's a project that aims to run Windows applications and games on Android smartphones. They say it uses a custom build of Wine compiled for Android and Box64 to run in the best possible way, actually in constant development. And it uses an X server based on Termux X11. Now, I haven't checked this one out myself yet. The first release seems like it was back in August of this year, so just a couple of months back, and they just released a brand new version 10 hours ago. Based on my understanding, if you've got a Snapdragon CPU with an Adreno GPU, you'll probably have the best experience here. So if you've used MiceWine, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below, and whether or not it's worth checking out, or whether or not it's just worth waiting for this thing to be developed a little bit more. Next up is a friendly heads up about a couple of free games. The first one here is LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, and that is free on the Epic Game Store. Well, if you know LEGO, if you know Star Wars, you know exactly what this game is. And the second game here is over on Steam. It's called Pankapu. I might have mispronounced that one. This is a narrative action platformer, and over on Steam it's got a mostly positive review score, and that's for all time. Again, 100% free. Next up, we're quickly talking about Microsoft, and Microsoft here, according to Tom's Hardware, reiterates that it will not lower Windows 11 requirements. A TPM 2.0 compatible CPU remains non-negotiable. So if you don't have a CPU that can support TPM 2.0, well, you can't update to Windows 11. Interestingly here, it turns out that 61% of people using Windows are still on Windows 10. Now, from my understanding, Microsoft plans on sunsetting Windows 10 by the end of 2025. So if you've got an Intel 8th generation CPU or an AMD Ryzen 2000 series CPU, you're going to be out of luck here if you wanted to upgrade to Windows 11. You're going to have to get a brand new CPU and then, well, upgrade to Windows 11 if you wanted to continue using Windows. Alternatively, though, you can pay a $30 yearly fee to Microsoft in order to receive security patches. And I don't think a lot of people are going to be fans of that option, but it is an option. Now, for those with an 8th generation Intel CPU or less, or a Ryzen 2000 series CPU or less, I think this would be a great opportunity to test out Linux and see what it can do for you. Is Linux going to be able to do everything that Windows can? Probably not. But at the same time here, it may do more things that Windows can in other aspects. And last up here, we're talking about Foamstars. Now, if you're a fan of Foamstars, you may not be a fan of this news here. The game is ending per se. I guess the game will live on. It's still going to be up and available to play. But there's going to be no more seasons, no more additional content coming from Square Enix. So Square Enix has confirmed that the Party Goes On season, starting on December 13th, 2024 and ending on January 17th, 2025, will be the final new season of content. After that, there will be no new content, but they will allow people to play through previous season passes. They say here, furthermore, to ensure that new players can fully enjoy Foamstars, previous season passes will be made available again. Players can switch between season passes at any time to proceed along the season pass track of your choice and obtain items from past seasons. This will make it possible for players to obtain all of the items from each season. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Are you a fan of Foamstars? Do you play it? And what do you think about this season pass situation? I mean, on one hand, it's great having seasons passes recycled so players can pick up stuff they want, having the game still active and online so players can still play it instead of taking it down. However, at the same time, if they're charging people and making money here off this stuff, to me, it just seems kind of lazy. I could be wrong about that, but again, let me know your thoughts about it. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff, or maybe some fluffs flying around in the background. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.